Hello and welcome to Belgium for round 9 of the 2023 Formula Virtual World Championship. My name is Bradley Dowton and I'm joined today by Harry Westwood.
Goedemiddag.
And Robert Mathershaw.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Today then the drivers were tackling 33 laps of this 7-kilometre circuit, the longest one on the calendar, consisting of 20 turns. Enrique Ruiz won here last year and is the most prolific winner. Can he replicate that today? Then let's take a look at how they line up. And for the first time in 7 races, it's not a Downton on pole position. Puccio Giordano won out in qualifying, but it is championship leader Klaas van Snelheid joining him on the front row. Finn Schneider and Felipe Cesar being up together on the second row. Cesar making it an excellent qualifying session then for the Ocelot team. Matteo Zatici starts from 5th. He's the only driver in the top 10 on the hard tyres, the rest on mediums, so keep an eye to see how that pans out. He's got Nathaniel Powers alongside him. Enrique Ruiz will have to go some if he's going to win again. He goes from 7th. Hoyt Escalar alongside on row 8. While behind them, Brock Kidd and Timo Kinnaman rounding out the top 10. We've then got Alexander McLaughlin and Will Taylor together on row 6. They're both on the hard, so we'll be looking to follow Zatici. Thierry Zylander likewise starting from 13th. And then Max Meyer in the first of the Lopez cars starts at the back of row 7. Hector Draper lines up in 15th with James Vazquez for company as the two Ingrams are once again line astern on the grid. Vazquez ahead of Kanga, who starts in 17th. He's got Sergio Alvarez for company on row 9. Alvarez the only car out there today on the soft, so let's see how that strategy pans out. Yukimi Takahashi starts 19th with Felix Perez lining up in 20th alongside on row 10. Daniel Zientek is 21st with Marcus Thunder alongside on the 11th row. Zientek and Takahashi both arrows on the hard tyres after it worked with Zientek at Silverstone. Hunter Ryan is 23rd with Felix Baer lining up alongside on row 12. And at the back of the grid we've got Stefan Klein and Enzo Dominicali in the second of the Lamborghinis. So as we go down to the grid then, it's Puccio Giordano in pole position on the left, Klaas van Snelheid alongside him on the front row. So long hold. The lights go out now then, we're racing in Belgium. It's a great start from Schneider in 3rd, who immediately goes between the front 2 then. Giordano on the inside of turn 1, Schneider down the inside of Klaas van Snelheid though, but Giordano checks up at the apex and it's Van Snelheid around the outside and the Dutchman goes into the lead then. Giordano loses out from pole position. Cesar is up into 3rd then ahead of Finn Schneider. That brilliant start in the AMR couldn't get the Swiss driver through the front row, and it's Klaas van Snelheid then leading down the Kemmel Straight for the first time. Giordano in 2nd, Cesar under pressure from 3rd. He's got the 2 AMRs trying to go either side of him. They're not going to manage it, and instead Cesar up the inside of Giordano into 2nd.
Brilliant stuff at the start there. Fantastic grip around the outside for Klaas to just swoop around Giordano. Worth noting, Takahashi's had an issue. He's already out of the race, so that is a long old afternoon for the Arrow team. Hopefully we get a replay of what happens. We've got Taylor up the inside of Max Meyer there. I think that's Kinnaman trying to follow him through. Yeah, but he doesn't quite manage it. Around the outside of Speakers now. Meyer, yeah, has to concede that position. Really clean racing for the most part from down the grid. But yeah, I want to see what happened to Takahashi before I make that claim.
Yeah, disappointing start for Arrow, and Yukimi Takahashi then is up front. Klaas van Snelheid already making good his escape on the first of these 33 laps here in Belgium. He's a second clear already on Felipe Cesar then, as the midfield getting incredibly close on this opening lap.
Yeah, definitely. Very scrappy down there, and it does look like early on those hard tyres are just about working, but definitely not the fastest tyre on track right now, which obviously we would have all expected. But yeah, very important that Klaas was able to make up some of that gap really to protect himself coming through Eau Rouge and up the Kemmel Straight, as I think that's Ruiz dispatching Zylander for in 8th place. Then that's Alvarez under attack. There's too much to have a look at.
Yeah,
I think there's all sorts going on.
Kanga attacking Alvarez then for 15th position, as there we see one. What is that? It's a Peugeot. It doesn't look like an Ingram, frankly. That's Brock Kidd then challenging Thierry Zylander for 9th.
Trying to make an overtake through Eau Rouge and Radion's a bit ambitious there.
Well, we've seen it done.
Yeah, absolutely great. Oh, here we go. I think we might get him into Les Combes here, though.
Yeah, you might well do. Kidd up the inside then on Thierry Zylander. Zylander's going to try and hang it around the outside, but doesn't work. And Kidd then does indeed take the position.
I think that battle's quite an important one to look at as well. You mentioned the hard-tired runners. I think the gap between Klaas-Van Snelheid, your race leader, and Matteo Zatici, who is the first of our hard-tired runners, is going to be the key one here. But behind, I think it's Alexander McLaughlin who is the next of those cars on the hard tyre. So that battle between Kidd and Zylander will be holding the New Zealander up a little bit.
Here we go. This is a replay then at the start of the race.
Oh,
So, that's what happened to Takahashi then. Well, surely there must have been some kind of steering failure there, because he just drove straight into the wall. So something must have broken.
Yeah, you saw a massive twitch there. I think there's something with the steering linkages absolutely failed there, undoubtedly.
It snapped right and then just went straight forwards, and that's a hard hit for Takahashi.
Yeah, I think
that's not really after you, sir.
I say he had his bell rung with that one as well, so hopefully we hear word that Takahashi's alright after that.
Yeah, definitely. It's obviously not the highest speed part of the circuit, but the fact that it's just all concrete and Armco, there's no Armco, no real nothing to really absorb the energy from that impact, means that that is going to be quite a big one. And as you said, hopefully he's all right. We'll keep an eye on that.
Is Armco crash barriers made out of like crow bones?
Yes, it is actually. That's why
it's lots and lots of crowbars that have been welded together.
It's like one really long, like just worse version of like the Game of Thrones like chair. It's not swords, it's crowbars.
Absolutely. So just looking at the gap at the front there, Van Snelheid's already 4 seconds up on Zatici after 2 full racing laps. So it's going well so far.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Hello. Fast there.
Yeah, that was Kinnaman or Mayer then, was it? And now Mayer under attack from his teammate as well, as Alvarez looks to go around the outside. Alvarez, I think, the only driver on track on the soft tyres, and he makes them work then as he heads into No Name ahead of his teammate.
I think he's going to have to do a lot of making them work from his current 14th position if he's hoping for a good result, to be honest.
But definitely, but he's made up some positions already.
True.
Racier than we've seen Alvarez so far this season.
That's one way of putting it, absolutely.
It's a nice way of putting it, I would say.
Definitely. Felipe Cesar was quite comfortable ahead of teammate Pucci Giordano. Bearing in mind Giordano, the pole sitter, clearly he's got pace around here. But the Brazilian looking every bit as comfortable in that Ocelot Peugeot at the moment.
Yeah, obviously it'd be easy to let your inexperience get the better of you here, but we've seen Cesar in good positions a few times this season now, and he is able to keep a cool head. I don't think I've seen him make a catastrophic mistake from a good position, although Giordano does look a bit close to this lap.
Yes, absolutely. I think we might have cursed him a little bit there.
It's part of the job. It's one of the perks.
Just looking back through the field a second, McLaughlin isn't the second highest car on the hard tyres. It's now Thierry Zylander.
Right, so Zylander made the move on McLaughlin, of course, which means, that's interesting to know.
Yeah, Cesar covers off a move from Giordano then into the Les Combes chicane, and this is costing them time now, the Ocelot pairs. They're now 2 seconds back from Klaas Van Snelheid.
And more importantly, those AMR cars are getting ever so much closer now because of this. That was a terrible sentence. So obviously Schneider, having qualified top 3, would ideally, I reckon, like to be back in that position.
Yeah, you'd imagine so. So where was Cesar on the group? Was Cesar 4th?
Yes. So he's jumped up 2 spots, which is bloody good effort, really.
Yeah, it was
not
rather.
bad at all.
I think the important thing is, the important thing to remember as well here is the longer that they don't get through these Ocelots, where it was a long lap and only having a couple of real traditional overtaking spots, you lose a lot of race time if you have to tuck in behind someone else for an extra lap compared to most circuits.
Yeah, big time. I think that one of the key things we're seeing here is that Matteo Zatici is just making up a couple of tenths a lap on this train behind Felipe Cesar now. So while Van Snelheid's off at the front and Zatici's there, Zatici's actually making time up massively on the cars ahead of him now. So might be looking good, really, for a very strong performance from Downton between both cars here.
Yeah, up front, Van Snelheid rattling off fastest lap after fastest lap then. But as you say, Zatici is the one we're going to have to keep an eye on here on those hard tyres. closing on the back of this train, consisting of Cesar, Giordano, Schneider, and Powers. And is this Giordano trying to take a look to the inside then? Cesar just feints across and covers him, and this is costing, look at that, they've lost another second in that sort of like, in that chicane alone to the race leader.
Giordano's got to, yeah, he's had to go super defensive there. You can see at the moment it does look like he's got either a slightly faster car or a much faster car than Cesar. Cesar does need to play the team game here, let his teammate through if they're going to start having to battle, like fend off the threat of the AMRs.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, you know, Cesar, we forget because of his, I was going to say rather antique age, but that's a little harsh.
Well, yeah, just a tad. Jesus.
We forget, you know, because he's slightly older, that he is still a rookie and, you know, trying to prove himself. But I think he's done that already this season. And at this point, I think it's more crucial to prove himself as a team player than it is as a quick driver.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. I think that anyone with the experience in the likes of Indy Virtual and the endurance racing that he's done, he's certainly not an idiot. Felipe Cesar, hugely experienced in racing in general. I think he's got to grips with the Formula Virtual car fantastically, and as you say, it's now just a case of really cementing his reputation in the series rather than necessarily proving his speed.
Yeah, I can't add anything to that. That's just spot on. So,
absolutely.
One thing to bear in mind now is Zatici and indeed the cars behind him are all in this train now, really, that is being led by Felipe Cesar. So where the hard-tired runner was possibly getting a bit of an advantage over the rest of them, it's now costing him in terms of Van Schnellheid as much as everybody else.
As we go on board with Giordano again, then heading towards the car. Oh, and he's touched his teammate! Giordano hits Cesar then. They luckily seem to have both got away with it. I don't know if Giordano's perhaps maybe picked up a little bit of front wing damage, but it doesn't look too bad from the off-board shots. But Giordano, is he maybe just starting to lose his patience a little bit?
Yeah, a little bit bolshy from the Italian. I think perhaps, as you say, he's held station for a little while, but now really wants to start having a bit of a go at that clean track.
Gap's now 5 seconds nearly between the leaders.
Yeah, it's monumental.
yeah, I mean, it's exactly what Plus needed to do. That's almost a second a lap over the rest of the field at the moment. But yeah, I do wonder if maybe that gap would either stop going up or even come down slightly if we got Giordano in that clean air. So if we got to see him there, sorry, not if we got him there. But yeah, no, that
I definitely think
very...
that's the case.
I think, yeah, he's been tucked up behind it for a while now, and you can see how much later he is on the brakes. I know you partially got like the concertina effect, but going through Lacune there, he was so much more confident stopping the car.
Wow, you've got Brock Kidd in 9th now at the end of this train, and you can see behind that you've got Zylander and McLaughlin on the hards. McLaughlin not really holding on to Zylander here, so the Belgian at his home V-Prix is pushing on quite nicely, but yeah, Brock Kidd in 9th is the last in this train. It's really starting to show now.
Interestingly, Zylander isn't actually even really close enough as we go down the Camel Straight once again. Is Giordano going to have another look into the chicane then? No, this time he doesn't even consider it. Cesar holds on to second place. But interestingly, despite these guys battling and losing time, Zylander's not catching them. Now 3.5 seconds back from Brock Kidd as that's Timo Kinnaman now defending or going back past Sergio Alvarez.
Fending off Alvarez, and I think he's going to lose the spot.
Not for long.
Yeah, I think he is.
Yeah,
Alvarez on the soft tyres sweeps around the outside then, and the Argentine brings himself up to 13th place, and now he has in front of him 3 drivers on the hard tyres.
I imagine he'll be looking to snap those positions up nice and quickly, because he, like you said, he does need to get a move on, and he is making slow and steady progress, but it does need to be faster than that if you're making 2 more stops than half the field and 1 more stop than the other half.
Yeah, definitely.
So that gap at the front now just below 5 seconds, having crept over the 5-second mark as well. But don't forget as well, just because we've got such a long lap here, we are already pretty much, I'd say we're over halfway as to what you would expect for anyone on a 2-stop strategy to be executing here. So, you know, the gap's pretty big, but the lap's also quite long as well, so that's possibly exacerbating it a little bit. So I think he's doing good work there, Van Schnellheid, so at the moment we'll see what happens.
Certainly is, as he pops in another fastest lap then. Just something I wanted to mention, but I'll do it in a second, just in case we get any action here then into the chicane once again as they fly through Eau and up over Radion. And yeah, Giordano looks as though he might have a bit of a run here on his teammate. Is he going to try anything? Once again, he decides against it. They're not really... None of these guys in this train are really attacking one another anymore. As further back is that Will Taylor trying to make a move on Alexander McLaughlin, but again can't make anything of it. And they've now got Sergio Alvarez right up close for company. As McLaughlin lost a lot of time on that lap to Zylander down the inside. On move. Taylor goes Alvarez. But no, can't quite yet. He can't do it. And Kinnaman around the outside. Kinnaman gets shoved off. And Alvarez holds the position. Kanga makes the move on Kinnaman as well. And now the Kanga on Alvarez. They've come together. There's contact between the Argentine and the Estonian. And through goes Max Mayer on the lot of them.
Yeah, that was cheeky from Max Mayer there.
Good grief.
Yeah, it's all going off. So
bits of car flying. They were locked together. They unlocked, and then it was Kanga in the Ingram. It looked like he was about to exit stage left.
And it does now look as though we've got ourselves a bit of a melee. Alvarez is like, I know I said he needs to get some move, like get the car moving, but he is being very...
Oh my god, it's nearly 4 wide! As I think there was contact there between Kinnaman and Mayer, as they're still side by side through Blanchimont. This is absolute madness. Down into the bus stop chicane, they're trying to go 3 abreast. Can't quite make it work. Alvarez and Vasquez dive into the pits then, Kanga, sorry, after their collision, and that's not a surprise. And it's Mayer now at the head of this train from Kinnaman and Perez and Draper and the rest of the field. As Mayer defends the inside line, round the outside goes Kinnaman.
Wow. That is absolutely insane. It's never mind Formula Virtual around Spa-Francorchamps. That was stock car racing 4 wide around Daytona.
Oh, that was quite a change of pace from what we're used to seeing. Yeah, everyone can now take a breath, well, except for these 4 that are now in close proximity. Who have we got there? That's is that Clean?
No, that's Perez out of nowhere.
Off Mayer. And then you've got Zientek at the head of his own mini train, with the Corfai having got himself in the mix here. That's Hunter Ryan doing a stellar job.
Interestingly, neither Kanga or Al...
He's going to go around, sorry Brad, he's going around the outside of James Vasquez.
Beautiful move there then from Hunter Ryan. I was just going to say, interestingly, neither Kanga or Alvarez's stops were particularly long. 4.2 for the Ingram team and 3.9 for Alvarez. Now Alvarez probably was tyres, but Kanga then, did he maybe just pick up a puncture rather than front wing damage?
Did he, or was it a case of him being on the wrong line, meaning that Alvarez was going in the pits, so Kanga was somewhat forced?
No, I think they just followed one another in.
Oh, okay.
It could have even just been as simple as a very quick visual check and deciding, well, we've got you stopped, we'll change the tyres. But clearly they're happy with the car. His class is down in the low 41s now. That is insane.
I'm sure he set the fastest lap every lap he's completed so far.
I think
pretty much, yeah. But looking at that gap now, Cesar's managed to stabilise it around the 5.5 second mark, or possibly just over. It's all going to depend really on when Van Schnellheid pits here, because if he gets it right, there's a nice gap between 10th and 11th, or 9th and 10th with Kidd and Zylander, but also Zylander and McLaughlin and then actually Kinnaman in 13th with a 5.5 second gap ahead of him. Alvarez in the pits again then for another problem here.
Ooh. Interesting, okay.
Yeah, don't know what's going on there, but essentially Van Schnellheid, there are 3 or 4 gaps in the field that are just starting to show up. If he can pit and get into them, he's going to be quids in here.
Yeah, don't forget though, a lot of these other drivers are also on the mediums, so we're going to pit at about the same point. The only cars we really have to worry about are going to be Zatichi, Zylander, McLaughlin and Taylor.
That is very true. But they've all spread out quite nicely, as I'm thinking, so...
Yeah.
He's going to... Yeah, it's...
nice big gaps to slot into, yeah, you're right.
He's got to make some time still on the hard-tired runners, but he's certainly done the perfect job so far on the first stint.
He absolutely has then. As talking about doing a good job, Cesar seems to have somewhat stopped the rot a bit and has opened up just a bit of a gap to his teammate, enough just so he's not under constant attack anymore.
No, he's not had, I mean, I suppose there's been no contact as well, which has definitely been something that Rode would have been happy about. But I wonder if maybe, because you mentioned that Giordano might have picked up some front wing damage, I just wonder if maybe that is the case, and he's just missing a bit of front end, meaning that he's not able to follow as closely anymore and apply as much pressure, or whether he's just been told, look, calm it down, and we'll slowly try and pull away from the AMR guys.
That also is entirely possible then, as Giordano now does get very close to his teammate, but again decides against trying a move into the Lecombe chicane, as now Alar Kanga bangs in the bad slap, and is that a 40.4?
Yeah,
It is.
Wow, Van
Tires
Schnellheid's only
give a
just broken
huge-
into the 1 minute 40s, so that's a rapid lap from Kanga. Appreciate he's on fresh rubber, but even so.
I actually didn't think that Klaus had gotten below a 41.0 yet.
He just did a 41.0 something. I can't remember what it
there
was.
we go.
But yeah.
So 0.6 faster is and that's harder tyres. I think Kanga was on the mediums.
Yeah, Klaus is on the mediums as well.
Oh, I thought oh yeah, of course, yeah, idiot. So fresh
But
tyres
in a
slower
much slower car.
6/10s.
Yeah. So new tyres seemingly worth a huge amount here then.
As long as you can get into the clear air to use them.
Well, absolutely. But then it would be interesting to see, you know, if they've got that much pace advantage, surely you should have so much more grip. You can pretty much just drive around people. It's going to be interesting to see once the medium-tired runners do pit.
Yeah, so we're into the two-stop window now with the completion of lap 11 of this motor race. So I reckon we'll be able to find out rather soon.
But unfortunately, our only soft-type runner has already stopped and is 22 seconds away from anyone else.
He stopped a couple of times, but
Well, yeah.
as usual,
a few stops.
as usual, interesting data though. It looked like that second stop, assuming for tyres or whatever, about 20 seconds looks like the delta between the between pit in and pit out. So
Yeah.
not the longest of pit stops here, which means that the guys who have to. Oh, is that a bit more contact between the two off slots there?
I think.
Bit
I
squirrely
saw
from
something,
Cesar on
yeah.
the entrance, if nothing else.
Here we go. It's real tight now between these top four, but everybody holds station for now. Just to sort of piggyback off what you were saying about a 20-second gap, I think that puts Klaus van Snelheid out in that nice like 4 or 5 second gap between McLaughlin and Kinnaman. So that would be
right.
very nice for him.
Yeah.
Alvarez.
But he is on softs.
I know, but you know,
Yeah.
calm it down, lad. But that is an impressive lap into the 39s. But
Alvarez
yeah, sorry.
taking a second off of Kanga.
Has
It's
he?
a shame his brace has gone down the toilet already, but
He's also, I think, just made a mistake because he's just dropped 2.
oh yeah.
It's all
So,
good data.
Well, yeah. All
So
day
the other
good
thing,
data.
if you split the race into 3, which obviously they're not doing, having not pitted at the end of this lap, Van Snelheid looks like he's probably about 8 or 9 seconds up on the hard tired runners, so can do that for the next kind of stint and a half after he pits. Then he's got the gap. The pace is good, the pace is there, so it's just a question of execution now for Van Snelheid and the Downton team.
Absolutely, and this point I was going to make earlier, and I'll come back to it now because it piggybacks quite nicely off of that. Just to point out, Klaus van Snelheid has never actually won 3 races in a row.
Oh,
now
what
now
have
you've
you
done it.
done? You don't get to be upset when something happens now. You put the curse on your own. There was contact there again.
Yeah, I think there was. And it's Giordano's had to really check up as a result. Schneider is suddenly really interested. It's swirly from Giordano. The back end kicks out. Schneider looks down the inside.
Here we
Then
go.
can't do anything of it. Behind Zatici on powers.
What an opportunistic move from the Italian.
Wow.
Fantastic stuff.
And Ruiz looks like he's in trouble behind then. Kid now starts to make a look, but now suddenly Ruiz turns defence into attack up the inside of Escalar. He can't make that work. He's over the curb on the inside, and suddenly he's got Kid back over him all over again.
About to turn back into defence here. The American is everywhere, all over the back of the gearbox of the Porsche.
Oh, is he going to go? Oh, he's fixing to go around the outside. Is he going to do it to Stavolo? No. How about the other one? Probably. He is as well. He's stuck up the inside of Stavolo too. There's contact. Jeez.
That's brave from Kid to put his nose in there then.
Well, I mean, the line between bravery and stupidity is a thin one, and I think he's tiptoeing it right now.
Look how much time this is costing them. They're a second and a half off the back of Escalar, having been with him just like half a lap ago. Madness, but I think he's
Unbelievable.
just about settling down. But Kid's not going to give this one up, is he?
Definitely not. No, he's still hounding Ruiz, and it'll be interesting to see what kind of run he gets now on the run down to Eau Rouge and then up the Camel Straight. That's funny because it's the wrong name. But the big winners here really are McLaughlin, Zarlander, Taylor, all of whom gaining time on this pack now while they scrap away.
Yeah.
I suppose also you could make an argument for Zetici with that awesome move. I don't know where that came from, but he had the grip, especially because it's so easy to lock up down the inside at Rivage, and he kept it together.
Oh, it was an absolutely incredible piece of car control and driving there from Zetici. I mean, three-time world champion in a Downton, who? Or is it more? I don't know. But
yeah, it was.
I just
four for us.
Just say
5 in total.
Five in total. Oh, some people just a bit greedy, aren't they? Really?
They are. Shit.
Although one could say the same about Klaus van Snelheid halfway through the race, almost, and a 9-second advantage over Felipe Cesar already.
Good lad, that's what we like to see.
No world titles yet. It would have been so much
Yeah,
better
alright.
if I took over every single word in that sentence. Oh, right. Looks like they've all sort of calmed down a bit now and spaced out a little bit more, although Powers is right close to Zetici.
Yeah, he's not going to appreciate that one, is he, Nathaniel? Being
To be fair, you talk about world titles. The top 5 world title in terms of world titles have the same number as Sebastian Vauclin at the moment. So going well for them.
That's actually a really cool little stat. Yeah, no world champions in the top 5. To be fair though, we've only got 2 world champions on the grid, haven't we?
I was going to say.
as I thought that one through, I was like, oh, actually, that's not like.
You actually raise a really good point. We are kind of going through a bit of a situation not that dissimilar to what that other series was having in the mid-90s, where through one reason or another, circumstances of course not necessarily all particularly good, that we don't have that many world champions on the grid, and there's a gap begging for someone to make their name in history here, really, isn't there?
Oh yeah, definitely. We will. I would be stunned if we don't get a new world champion this season.
I was going to say, 8 races into this year, neither Powers or Ruiz are really anywhere near the championship fight, are they? So I think
that's exactly it. And unless they end up in cars that are significantly better over the next few years and then take that chance, unless we get someone like Van Snelheid winning the title and then running away with it in an absolute fit of dominance, which, to be honest, we haven't seen all that many times in Formula Virtual in terms of it being a dead cert. I mean, we could end up with another 3 or 4 world champions on the grid by the time the 2 of them decide to hang up their race boots.
We could well do.
I would probably, to sort of go off the point about no one really being dominant, you are quite right really. In terms of teams, we have had an issue, a big orange issue. No, but on a serious note, in terms of the drivers, we've had some dominance from Downton a couple of years, but as you say, really,
do better.
It's not been a case of maybe 2017, 2016 you could make an argument for.
Yeah, but I think that's the case. Is that we've got Nathaniel Powers as a 5-time world champion, but at least a couple of those titles have come in very hard-fought years from outside the Downton team as well. So it's a testament to him as much as anything. But here we go. We're going to see a move here from future Giordano, surely.
Yeah,
Giordano to the outside
as well to do it safely. Sorry.
Yep, and Giordano does sweep around the outside of teammate Felipe Cesar fairly comfortably. It's only taken him 16 laps.
That is going to probably irk the Italian ever so slightly, but now he's got a good chance to get his head down, make use of some of that clean air, and make sure that he has the edge over this train when it comes to the stops, as I believe we are coming up to the 1-stop window.
We are indeed, but as we know with Pucci Giordano, he's taken half the race to make that overtake, but he now has half the race to go and get Klaus van Snelheid. Whether it'll happen or not, I'm not going to mention. But
he also has 10.5 seconds to make up so far. But
that's
interestingly,
only about, 11/10 a lap.
I wonder if Cesar had a word in his ear at that point, because he's been fighting Giordano really, really hard in this opening stint, but suddenly that one, he just seemed to. I mean, he pretty much gave him the line.
I think, in fairness, it looked a bit more like Cesar got it wrong a bit going through Eau Rouge and Raidillon, because if you saw the closing speed Giordano had at the top of the hill before they even rounded like the Camel Straight, I guess you could say, like when they got, you know what I mean, past that little kink. You know, he was already gaining massive amounts of, just gaining car lengths on Cesar. So, but at the same time, there is a chance he's turned the engine down slightly to let him past. After all, that would be quite a headache for the Ocelot boys.
Yeah, it's an interesting one as Atici suddenly looks a little bit under pressure from Nathaniel Powers, but the world champion can't do anything about that. As that...
Oh no. Ruiz didn't actually lose the position to Kidd, but he came because I thought he had. Kidd is
will do in a minute.
I was going to say, Kidd's still all over him. Interesting as well, these two haven't really caught back up to Escalar.
I do wonder if Kidd's played some small part in that.
Possibly. Can we just point out though, Escalar once again doing a fantastic job to hang on to the back of that train of the two Ocelots, the two AMRs and Atici.
Oh, that's a very good point. In a car that's looked down on pace in the last couple of races as well, compared to that sort of group, that is, yeah, you're right, a stellar effort. I want to point something else out real quick. 2 laps and Giordano has reeled in class by about a second total, maybe half a second. So he is actually a little bit quicker than the Dutchman at the moment.
Game on.
Is he?
I think it's holding about steady. I think it's.
I was going to say it kind of just
closer.
Floated over 10 seconds when Giordano went through, and it seems to be fluttering around.
I'm just
there
saying
still.
it's worth keeping an eye on because it was comfortably over 10 seconds when he made the pass. So, maybe it's just a case that they go blow for blow. But I hope that they can at least give us a scrap of the lead towards the end because we love to see it. So.
It's not the biggest gap between cars on the track.
No. Although Alvarez has done some solid work.
I was just going to say, it nearly is the biggest gap between cars on the track, actually. You know how much I love a good contra strategy. I am firmly of the opinion, watching that the Alvarez Lopez going around the track here, I'm firmly of the opinion, if one of the front runners had taken a punt on the soft tyre and managed to get into some clear air, they would have been well in the mix here. Alvarez's pace has been supremely impressive since he made his second stop on lap 9, I think it was, of this race. So after a few races where we've seen the strategy perhaps favouring one tyre dominantly in terms of how everything's converged, I think we might be back to our best in Formula Virtual here.
Yeah, I have to agree. Alvarez has been mega. He's taken pretty much a second a lap, if not more.
Yeah, it's been, and as you say, part of that is the fact that he's had nothing but clear air to use. But again, you know, as you're mentioning, if a front runner can get that clear air, I can think of one example this race right now that's had just loads of clear air for the opening
Cesar.
stint. Yes, he has for most of the stint, but they would have been able to use those softs really well. So
yeah, I would say you're absolutely right there. Could you think about how impressive it would have been to watch Klaus Manschnellheiden and a set of bit of soft rubber here?
Oh, it would have been awesome.
It would.
It would have been a joyous sight. I just sat and watched the onboard and not commentated all race.
We'd have lost you, yeah. And we thought, oh, Rob, what do you? No, he's plugged in. He's not listening. Completely just enjoying watching that car just pound around the circuit. But yeah, that would have been a
Rob
bit
does
of a
enjoy
treat.
watching a good pounding.
Ah dear. Oh, there we go. We've got an Ingham going around the outside there, saving my my blushes. There's Kanga. Kanga has been driving absolutely imperiously since he's made his pit stop around the same time as Alvarez as well. He's managed to get up to 21st, which doesn't seem like a lot, but he's made 3 or 4 really good moves here.
It's also a crying shame for Alvarez because, actually, when did he pit? What was it, about lap 9 or so?
Lap 9 and then lap 10.
So he's on mediums. So if the medium runners can
Alvarez is on top.
Yeah, no, Kanga, sorry, I meant.
Oh.
Kanga on medium.
Yeah, that was lap 9.
Which means if the medium-tired runners don't pit until lap 23, 24, Kanga might be able to make it to the end.
That's true. A very good point.
Imagine he uses this as a massive undercut and gets right back in that midfield fight.
Well, this is what I'm wondering.
In fairness, we did say that the soft rubber, the new rubber looked like it was making quite a big difference for him. So if he's going to get the use out of it in the clear air, make use of it while everyone else is battling, it's got to be a net gain for him, hasn't it?
Yeah, actually, very true.
Bearing in mind that the cars that he's battling against, he seems to be getting past them, driving onwards and then continuing. So
yeah, he's not really hit many. I mean, admittedly, he's passed some not particularly quick cars so far.
Traffic.
But I mean, with the greatest of respects to the Ingram team, that car hasn't seemed the quickest all year. It's
Much more than traffic, yes.
Yeah, look at Vasquez.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not had anything go spectacularly wrong in his race. That's just where he is.
Exactly. So yeah, for Kanga to be that much quicker, it's certainly showing fresh tyres good. It's here, round the outside then. Oh, Alexander McLaughlin goes to Mo Kinnaman. And McLaughlin, what's happened here then? Because he's suddenly lost position to Taylor and fallen 1.5 seconds back, and now lost out to Kinnaman as well.
Very strange.
Kinnaman was like 5 or 6 seconds back from Taylor and McLaughlin, so something
another great
has to
move
have happened between them. Look at that.
That's Kanga again.
Yeah. Oh, Hunter Ryan there showing that the Ko-Fi there not particularly enjoying the old rear tyres there, but wow, what a move that was.
I do love seeing Kanga drive at his best when he's like this. He's such a good driver who just I would say he never seems to get green. Oh, we haven't seen him very much. Hello.
Barely seen him.
Also, after I tried to build up some hype about Giordano maybe catching, Klaas has pulled another second. So
absolutely. Very nice to see our race leader there.
Imperious, yeah. Wait, I just used your word. It's a good word though, so I'm using it.
Absolutely. You always know you're having a good race when you don't feature on the TV.
Yeah. Right up until you do.
Yes. Yeah, I was going to say when you end up on the TV, it's a terrible thing generally, isn't it?
Yeah, like get him off the screen. It's like when you watch your local football team play, and if it's not like a Premier League match, whenever it's televised, you know it's going to go poorly.
Yeah,
absolutely. Or when you're watching Match of the Day, and if someone's been substituted on and they've showed it, they've either scored or been sent off. Yeah, another great move on the outside. Is that Brock Kidd finally making the move?
Wow, what an effort! That is.
He's
quality from Kidd.
Absolutely massive.
I speechless. That was an awesome move, and look, he's just driven away from him.
Can we talk about this for a moment? Because Ruiz has season after season shown to be brilliant. Let's not beat around the bush.
And that's big praise coming from Bradley, guys. Bradley hates Enrique Ruiz.
That was difficult to say, wasn't it, Brad?
Yeah, through gritted teeth.
It really was. He's been made to look so ordinary this season.
Oh, most definitely. I think that I don't know whether it's the first time really, because I'm not going to beat about the bush. Oh, here we go though. We've got our race
we'll come back to that
bits.
As Klaas van Snelheid dives in then, and it's at the end of lap 21, so I think it might just fall short for Alar Kanga then, but we'll keep an eye on him. Let's first see how Van Snelheid's stop goes, and in fact they're all in. Everyone behind him piles in. Giordano, Cesar, the only one who's obviously carrying on is Tici. Howard and Escalar though also follow the Italian through.
Don't forget the fact that because the track's so long, if you, in most places, what might equate to a lap of extra tyre life might only be kind of half a lap to 3/4
this is going to be tight for Klaas van Snelheid. Can he get out in front of Zylander and get clear air? Not quite. I don't think Zylander is going to take it into a Rouge. Indeed he does, as we've got a yellow flag up ahead, but we'll come back to that. As there we've got Brock Kidd leaving the pit lane, and that was a 4.3 second stop, so he's lost a bit of time there.
I think they're side by side all the way up the Camel Straight here. They are indeed.
They
here
are.
We go.
And Van Snelheid does go through then, and that is. I was going to. Well, it's not really crucial for him because he had an 11-second advantage. But yeah.
Oh no, that's squeaky bum time there. The Downton engineers on the pit wall would have been very much hoping that he would either clear off and get out of the way of it, or at least keep clean. Because anytime you're side by side all the way through Eau Rouge down the Camel Straight is a pretty tetchy moment.
Absolutely that. And Van Snelheid already 2 seconds clear of Zylander.
Wow.
That's how impressive these fresh tyres are then. As Zatici leads, Powers, Escalar and Rouge behind him are all going to dive in surely at the end of this lap. And it's then going to be Klaas van Snelheid, and he's going to be, 5 seconds behind his teammate? At this pace, I give that a lap or 2.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah, medium tyres, like especially coming straight out of the pits, nice and fresh, are looking scary fast for anyone who's on hard tyres. As yeah, sure enough, in comes Powers and Escalar.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think for them, even though they've gone a lap longer, with the fresh tyre looking like it's such a powerful thing to have on your car, I don't know whether it was a good idea. I think that they're not going to get the best of the new tyre.
No, I agree. As we see, there goes everybody there racing basically. They have lost huge amounts of time. You're right.
It's a shame for Escalar, but obviously Powers as well. But Escalar in particular, I think, has driven really well again, and he's lost out a little bit there. And also a slow stop, 1.2 seconds slower.
Well, Schneider's had trouble.
I don't know if he has, because Zylander, Taylor, McLaughlin all on hards. As here we've got McLaughlin under pressure from Puccio Giordano. Then surely Giordano's just going to drive cleanly by here, and indeed he does. He's ahead before the braking zone, but he's going to use the extra grip of those fresh mediums to cleanly drive around the outside. Further back, we've got Escalar and Kidd goes past the Estonian then on that slightly warmer tyre. He obviously pitted a lap earlier, so yes, Escalar has now lost out. But apart from that one position lost to Kidd, he hadn't actually dropped anything apart from time.
And time is everything. Time is money.
True.
Yeah, it's true.
Meanwhile, time being money, Van Snelheid's about to be quids once more here. He's made up a second and a half since his pit stop.
Whoa, look at that. That is insane behaviour.
As they crossed the line, it was about 5.4, so he's done 2 seconds in pretty much a lap here on his teammate.
I think this is
a dead cert.
Inevitable.
I'm not sure Zatici's going to be able to do anything about it.
I do wonder if the case would be just minimising time lost, so that because I think now there's a real risk of the likes of not just Giordano, but a lot of the medium-tired runners in the midfield catching up to the back of him.
Yeah, very
and
much
don't forget we've got guys on the hards, so he's got something to think about there.
That is a very good point. As Brock Kidd sets the fastest lap.
That's 39.0. Great effort there from the American.
That's stellar. Okay. Yeah, I think that might be the saving grace for Zatici here then, in that he is going to have pretty much like a barrier essentially in Zylander, Taylor and McLaughlin, although Giordano dispatches Taylor as behind him Cesar dispatches McLaughlin. The AMRs side by side, Powers and Schneider, and Powers blasts through past his teammate.
Nobody when you saw that Cesar was practically pushing McLaughlin through Eau Rouge and Radion. He was so close.
Powers is on the back of him already nearly.
Crazy stuff.
I know it's a long lap here, but they are taking huge amounts of time out of the hard-tired runners.
Oh, they're tearing chunks out of them.
Look, Powers is on him just a couple of corners later.
Oh, God. And then he's going to be past another couple of corners after that, and then he'll be away.
McLaughlin looks like a mobile chicane at this point.
He actually does.
That Porsche does not look like a car that's, it's not necessarily the fastest in the field, but it's certainly no slouch.
And right across Powers' nose, that could have been ugly.
This feels like it's going to go wrong at some point.
Straight.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Something's going to go right here.
He's keeping both AMRs in line for now, but you got to wonder how long is that going to be the case.
How far? He's 2.5 seconds behind Cesar after what, 2/3 of a lap.
I mean, I know he's been driving defensively, but not to that extent.
Also, Van Snelheid now within a second of Zatici, so that was another 2 seconds on that lap just gone then.
Jeez Louise.
What do we think? The move into the bus stop chicane for Van Snelheid this lap?
I think he might just wait and do it down the Kemmel Straight next time round, to be fair.
Yeah, whatever's safest.
As now McLaughlin's going to lose out, surely to both.
Oh no! Schneider gets caught up.
Yeah, just Powers then. And Schneider's going to force his way through on the exit of the Les Combes chicane. Wow, we don't often see overtakes there.
Pass on the grass there from Finn Schneider.
Yeah, pretty amazing stuff. Oh god. Yeah, those hards look like quite a handful to be working with, if I'm being honest.
They really do, don't they?
7 laps from the end as well. They're still crying enough, so I don't envy anyone driving them at the moment, but here we go.
It's
Van
on board
Snelheid
with
into
Klaas
the
van
bus stop
Snelheid
again.
then. Yep, it's Atici who leads on the hard tyres, but his teammate is stalking him all the way. He looks to the outside, he looks to the inside. Van Snelheid gives his teammate a little love tap into the bus stop then. And he really doesn't need to be risking that. He can drive around him. Come on, man.
That's alright, it's Dutch Morse code for I'm here, mate.
Yeah, just letting them know.
Just one
Cesar's
tap.
still stuck up there. Here we go. Surely, nice and clean move. Wait to the top of Radion, get a nice run. Happy as Larry. You're laughing all the way to the victory.
Definitely be it then, as the two Downlands nose to tail through Eau Rouge and Radion. Klaas van Snelheid is so close to his teammate, but Zatici pulls across to cover the inside line. He's put Van Snelheid on the grass! The two Downtons so close, but Van Snelheid keeps his foot in across the grass, across the curb and through into the lead.
That's magnificent.
I think we might see a repeat hit note as a bit more respectful driving there as Taylor fights the inside but has to concede position. Yes.
That was echoes of one of the greatest overtakes of all time down the Nottingham on the Nordschleifer in GT cars.
Yes,
But that's even better. Klaas van Snelheid, take a bow.
Wow. That is going to be an uncomfortable debrief. I'll say that much right now.
Yes,
it was uncomfortable.
Yes,
for
it
Van Snelheid
will.
keeping his foot in.
Oh my god, I'm amazed that he still found that much grip with all that dirt and like grass on his tyres.
We'll also book him an appointment with the dentist for tomorrow morning, because I think
and
the
a
curve
curve.
that hard.
That is a very good point. That cannot have been comfortable on his on his teeth, his spine, and his chocolate starfish eater.
Yeah, we'll also book an appointment with a chiropractor and a gardener.
Oh, at least you can look after the circuit as well.
Yeah.
So, battle for second, third and fourth. Zylander has made up a second since that overtake's happened. And Giordano is catching as you might expect. So,
right.
That's not the last of our action today for the Belgian V-Prix, hopefully.
No, absolutely not. It's Giordano is coming at a rate of knots.
I say, Bradley. This would be Giordano's like third or fourth podium in 4 or 5 races now?
Yeah, something
if he
mad.
pulls this off? Like he's
What do
on
you mean
a
if he
hell of a
pulls this
streak.
off? He's right on the
I'm
back of
not-
Zylander already.
I'm not cursing anything, especially when they're running our engine.
Oh dear.
Here we go. We've got Taylor now again defending from powers this time.
Yeah. Will the Brit get there?
Oh,
it's
contact. Oh, there's
Back
collision.
four, and
Taylor and
yeah.
Schneider then into the off and nearly into the barrier. I think
Taylor's got every right to be
trying
upset
to
about
pull
that.
out at the same
And they're
time.
locked
Taylor's
as well.
making his displeasure known here.
Oh, it's not Schneider that's done it to him.
Yeah, I know. The problem there is that Taylor obviously caught up in the incident, but it all started when Taylor bowled a wide going into Les Combes and just it's unlucky though.
Taylor lost another position now to Kinnaman. It looks like he is back moving. Schneider is as well, but I'd be interested to get a replay of that. But I think Harry spot. I think that was all caused by Powers.
No. So Powers was down the inside, but he only got down the inside because Taylor ended up bowling a wide. I don't think there was contact. Taylor went wide into the corner, completely missed the apex. And I think as he's coming back on, you had Schneider coming around the outside.
Ooh, I mean, we'll have to get a few more angles then to see kind of what's gone on. But either way, that is a disaster for Taylor and for Schneider, both of whom looked like they were on for scoring some points today.
Well, I think Taylor might have been under pressure fairly quickly because he's obviously got Escalade, Kidd and Ruiz behind on soft tyres. Schneider, is that Schneider in the pits? Both of them, Schneider pits and Taylor pits as well.
It is.
Let's hope we don't see a repeat here. And discretion better part of there. Zylander would want another podium, but just knows he can't really fight that one. Ocelot car is faster, fresher tyres. Sometimes you gotta know when to bow out.
Yeah, Zylander,
clean as
that would have hurt him giving up a podium here, especially at his home race. But I think he knew he had nothing to fight with there.
And I think that is a point you could make about the Taylor scrappers. Oh, they're close.
Oh, yep.
Oh,
That's again
God.
then, that's-
Clean holds on.
Yeah, Mayer putting Clean on the grass, as we saw with Zatici and Van Schnellheid
Yeah.
earlier. Here we go then. This
Here
is
we go
on
then.
board with
Taylor.
Taylor then. So we did get a
He gets
whack.
a solid whack, but he loses it on his own.
Yeah.
He would have spun on that curb. Yeah, Rob's right.
So this is Schneider's view then. And, Schneider, he could see what was going on there and he tried to take advantage. I
Yeah.
don't think he quite gave Taylor enough room. It was always obvious that car was going to come back onto the track.
Yeah, he's misjudged it a bit. I think I'd probably judge it a racing incident predominantly, but yeah, as I say, Taylor put himself in the position there, and Schneider just finished him off, really.
I
Yeah.
do think an argument to be made there is the fact that I think when the contact happened, Taylor was just entirely off track. He'd gone, I think he was, I could be wrong, which, while it's not smart for Schneider to then take the racing line and squeeze him, he does, in the eyes of the law, have every right to do so. But it's again one of those cases of, the graveyard is filled with people who are right. Taylor shouldn't have even been fighting those guys. You let those guys go, you lose a lot less time, and you don't end up in the barrier.
Yeah, that's exactly the cases. We now on board with Brock Kidd, who's found himself back behind George Heskela.
Oh,
What happened there then?
probably. I don't know. Who have they got on them now? That is that's Draper behind. That's Draper.
That's
and,
Kinnaman. Yeah.
Hang on.
No, look at the timing screen. Kidd is behind Escala and they've got
Hang on.
Ruiz right with them. It might not
Oh, I
be who
see
we're
what you mean.
watching, but
Right,
as we're
I'm
watching.
watching
Yeah,
now.
we're watching Vasquez, Kinnaman, and Draper. Then, sorry,
Yeah.
but yeah. So interesting there. Then Kidd's lost that position. Ruiz, as I say, right with the pair of them. Interestingly, then as well up front, that's kind of ruined our how well can the hard tired runners go? Because honestly, we've got Zatici in second. Giordano still some 7 seconds back now, not catching quite as quickly as I anticipated. We've got Zylander in fourth, but yeah, they're the only two now left on the hard tyres. Because we've got McLaughlin in 10th, I suppose, just hanging on to a point at the moment.
Yeah. But Kinnaman's looking quite fast at the moment, so that might not be the case.
He is, and we've got Vasquez there in 11th. What's Vasquez? Is Vasquez on hards as well?
Hards, yeah.
Oh well, that's unfortunate for him.
As outside at the bus stop, you.
Oh, a little bit of
boy.
contact though.
Yeah. Wouldn't have said that was
He's
worth
not-
the risk if you're that
he's
much
not-
faster.
He's not giving it up yet, but I think it's game over there for the Colombian.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that was worth the risk. He is still about 2.5, 3 seconds behind McLaughlin.
Oh, there comes Kanga's.
There you go.
Well, he
Kanga
didn't
can't make it.
Having said that,
That's a
it hadn't
big
really
shame.
worked to make anything because he was only like 14th anyway, so it's not like he was.
That's true. So we'll have 3 laps remaining at the line. I don't think. Oh,
Here we go.
Here's
So
the
this
move.
is
How it happened.
well, that's
Kid goes
Kid
around.
passing Escala.
So
No.
he's gone. Oh, hang on.
He's
no,
back,
no,
he's
that
back
is-
through. He's back into 7th.
Yeah, the-
Back through.
Okay, so these two are basically just scrapping away for position at this point, and Ruiz is there to pick up any. Here we go!
He's trying.
Oh, you don't want to
Nose.
put your nose at these side at poo on.
Yeah, that's brave or silly from Ruiz, one of the two. As
Leaning
is
towards the latter.
Kinnaman's 4.5 seconds back from McLaughlin now.
Oh. He must have made a mistake, or something happened, because that's.
Yeah, he's
Oh.
got Vasquez and Draper right with him. So I think it was crucial that Kinnaman got that move done then, because he's now got a lot of time to make up. As here we've got Cesar attacking Thierry Zylander then for 4th place. Through surely goes Zylander. He's going to have the traction. Cesar, sorry, he's
Yeah.
going to have the traction on the exit in the Brazilian. It goes back into 4th place then, ahead of the home hero.
Yeah, no, again, those.
and nearly
he's had to check
parks
up
him on the
massively, yeah.
apex.
Cesar, I mean, I'm only inclined to call that naughty because it disadvantaged my driver, but any driver in Cesar's shoes is going to do exactly what the Brazilian did there. Very, very, cool-headed, actually.
I'll tell you what, this has given Powers a hell of a run now. As
really
Zylander
has.
himself has got the toe of Felipe Cesar then. Can Zylander come back at the Brazilian? Round the
No
outside
way.
into the Conchicane. He
You
can!
naughty boy, that's not
Zylander takes
allowed.
it back then on 30
Beautiful
lap
stuff.
old hard tyres. Beautiful move.
That's
Oh, God.
incredible there. So obviously you're seeing the old hard tyre against what is now pretty much an old medium tyre, and clearly the drop-off not quite as bad as we were expecting.
Yeah, and suddenly, Cesar, I mean, parking on the apex was the right move if you're not going to get repassed further down the straight. The whole point of that move is to stop that happening. So now he can't attack Zylander so freely because he's got Powers right up his chuff.
Yeah, and Powers isn't exactly going to back off easily.
No, I'd also, yeah, no, I forgot, I don't know, but no, Powers, especially with how this season's been going, he'll be keen to pick up as many points as possible over his teammate.
He certainly will, and it doesn't look like his teammate is likely to score, currently mired in 17th between the two first cars.
Oh, here they go again.
Yeah, Cesar to the outside.
There's contact.
Little bit of wheel banging into the bus stop then, surely, once again. Cesar's going to have the traction on exit, but he doesn't. It's Zylander then who gets away. Cesar's going to look to the inside of La Source. No, tries the outside. He's going to sweep around it. And Zylander gets pinched on the apex, and Cesar goes back into fourth.
Yeah, good driving there from Cesar. Is all over the back of that Peugeot, and now he's under attack from Powers, so he doesn't have a chance to react just yet. But yeah, just made that car massive in Zylander's mirrors, and I think Zylander got a bit spooked there. But great move there from Cesar. And another great move from Powers, is it? Zylander fights it. Yeah, he has to let go.
Yeah. Schneider's in the pits again.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
maybe there's some damage. Are they retiring the car?
I was going to say, he's still got a front wing, so it looks good. But yeah, not the race then. Or not panning out how Schneider would have wanted it. And it's only a 3.7 second stop, so it's pretty quick.
That does appear to just be stopping for tyres.
Are they just trying to take fastest lap, so they've got something?
Maybe.
Potentially.
Interesting.
Because we all know
at
that
the moment it's still held by Brock Kidd, isn't it?
It is actually. That's a very good point. Tell you what, Kidd's made up 2 seconds on Zylander here. It's not game over for him getting 6th either.
No, he's driving well, but I don't want to mention anything about North Star given how their season's gone.
Yeah,
I would. If you want to keep 6th, I think you should.
Yeah, to be fair,
I
Kidd looks
he does, but to be fair, he's only got a lap to go.
I don't necessarily think he'll manage it, but I just thought it was worth building
bit
some
of excitement.
Absolutely,
yeah, because when he does it, I'll look like a genius.
2.5 seconds then, pretty much the gap between Kidd and Zylander as they cross the line to start the final lap. Zylander is looking a little bit walking wounded at the moment.
Oh yeah, he is a bit. I wonder if maybe all that battling is just taking the life out of his tyres a bit too soon.
Yeah, I think he's driving around on chalk.
I was just going to say, I want to point out another gap. Kinnaman might have a shot at McLaughlin for the last points paying position on this final lap, you know.
I don't think that's I'm not sure that's a shot. I think that's a fairly... Ruiz lunges at Escalar.
Yeah.
Oh, and he's sideways.
Jesus.
Just about gathers it up then, does Enrique Ruiz.
Ruiz, if nothing else, is having a good time here.
He is.
But I suppose this man's having a slightly better time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Klaas van Schnauer, it certainly looks as though he's enjoyed the day. Some 11 seconds clear of his teammate, having overtaken him only, what, 6-7 laps ago? But
it's a different planet.
We see Taylor and Clean going wheel to wheel. Kinnaman hasn't managed it yet, but up front then, Klaas van Schnauer heads into the bus stop chicane for the final time. He's lost a bit of time to Zatici on this lap, but he won't care one iota. For the first time in his career, Klaas van Schnauer wins 3 in a row then. And it's victory for the Dutchman here in Belgium. Matteo Zatici will cross the line in second place. He had 3 seconds back to Giordano at the end to make it a Downton 1-2. Giordano with his 4th podium in 5 races indeed, as Felipe Cesar makes it an Ocelot 3-4. Powers just behind him in 5th then. Zylander does hold on to 6th ahead of Kidd, who finally gets a sort of decent result this season. Escalar and Ruiz and Kinnaman at the bus stop, the final corner then. McLaughlin's on the outside, Kinnaman on the inside. Kinnaman's got the traction and the fresh tyres, and Kinnaman nicks the point on the line then from Alexander McLaughlin.
Oh my god. That was such a good race.
And then parks it on the apex and lets him drive back past just to really rub it in.
Oh, wow. Maybe he preferred the view that he had for most of his at the end of his second stint there. But yeah, what a drive though from Klaas. Just, it's rare that I say this, but completely flawless. I don't think I saw him put a single foot wrong.
Oh, absolutely brilliant there from the Dutchman. Well-deserved winner, I think. But for me today, driver of the day, Brock Kidd. I think he was everywhere on the track and he did really well, but it is the Dutchman's day.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, as you say, Kidd did a stellar effort. Escalar as well, you know, we pointed him out early on, holding on to the Ocelots and the AMRs, you know, much quicker cars, and he just got unfortunate there, I think, with the slightly later pit stop. But yeah, Klaas van Snelheid, imperious up front. He got the lead when he needed it right at the start, and benefited from all the battling behind. And it's Klaas van Snelheid then who makes his way back to the pits to start the celebrations and the podium. Here come the drivers out onto the podium then. In third place for Ocelot Japan Racing with his third consecutive podium finish, Puccio Giordano. In second place then for the Downton FB team, making a return to the rostrum after missing out in Germany, Matteo Zetici. And onto the top step then, also for the Downton FB team, with his third consecutive victory for the first time in his career, Klaas van Snelheid. And in his honour, the Dutch national anthem. So there we have it then. It is a fifth victory of the season for Klaas van Snelheid, making the most of those medium tyres then. Zetici making the most of the midfield battles to hold on to second as the onslaught of medium tyre runners were coming towards the end. Thierry Zylander did likewise in sixth then, ahead of Brock Kidd, who picks up a brilliant result for North Star, some much needed points after the disappointment of recent races, and also the fastest lap Escalar, Ruiz and Timo Kinnaman rounding out the points for a great result as well for Ocelot in third and fourth. Not so for Finn Schneider then, the Swiss driver, down in 24th in this race after a few disasters and not a few great races in a row, and that's really hampered him in the Drivers' Championship then. He's now 82 points off the lead, which is Klaas van Snelheid 20 points ahead of teammate Zetici then. A few changes further down, Cesar is up into fifth ahead of Zylander. Will Taylor loses 2 positions after a disappointing result here today then, and Ruiz ahead of McLaughlin, albeit both Porsches tied on 28 points. Ruiz ahead by dint of having the 4th place finish. Kidd there as well, gaining those 6 points for 7th place and moving up to 14th in the championship, and that's crucial for North Star in the constructors as well. Then there haven't been any position changes. Downton extend their advantage to 191 points. AMR now only 12 ahead of Ocelot as the battle for third spreads out. Crucially, North Star have gained points on their rivals. They are clear now of first by 6 points and closing on through. But that's all from our race here today in Belgium. So from me, Harry and Rob, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time for round 10 from Monza, Italy.